one should not really get into, if somebody, a director who has been working for 25 years, obviously knows who's to cast, knows who to cast in, their main lead.
That's so true.
So I was okay with people not thinking that I was right for the part, because I think that's their own perspective. In this film in totality was a very different film. So I was never comparing myself to any of these actresses, who have done fantastic work and they've been a huge source of inspiration for me otherwise. I don't think that there was any reference point, because there's never been a character like this even in our Hindi films.
Koimoi.com.
Hello and welcome to Koimoi. This is Shubham Kulkarni, and today in conversation with me is the Chand of Sanjay Leela Bhansali's new magnum opus. Hello Alia.
Hello.
Welcome to Koimoi.
Thank you.
First of all, this was your dream. You have been talking about starring in a Sanjay Leela Bhansali movie. It's all coming to fruition now. Tell me how are you keeping away the euphoria, the butterflies right now?
I'm not keeping it away because I like that the butterflies make you feel very alive. And it's like, you have that exam and you prep for the exam and you work very hard and you put all the effort and time into it. But when you're writing, you want to write fast and you want to write. So actually it's like the day of the release is when it's like a feeling of giving the exam and getting the result immediately. So leading up to that is when you're very nervous and you're prepping and you're trying to do everything to make the film reach as many people. So which is why we started doing all these promotions and stuff like that. But you're also trying to you're also reliving a lot of those memories now that you shot when you worked on the film.
Yes.
It's a very emotional process. But you have to some extent try and detach yourself from it, because anything can happen and you have to be prepared for everything. But you obviously always hope for the best.
That's amazing. But then, the Bhansali dance numbers, we saw Dholida yesterday and you were amazing in it. But tell me, shooting for it, the process for it, was it ever reflecting or taking inspiration from, say, Aishwarya, who has personified beauty in the past, or Deepika or Madhuri ma'am? How was it?
You know what? In this film in totality was a very different film. So I was never comparing myself to any of these actresses, who have done fantastic work and they've been a huge source of inspiration for me otherwise.
Yes.
But in this particular character, it was not about just dancing for the camera. There's a story to the song, and to every song that you'll see in the film, which is very unlike what Sir has done recently. Of course, there's a story even in his previous films, but there are, how you say a typical Sanjay Leela Bhansali song. Sir has sort of changed that mold for himself as well. Whenever you think that it's going a certain way, he will totally take you off that track and say, okay, no, it's actually like this. So what he's trying to do even with this film, it's more about a character. It's about the journey of the character. So even the song and the way she's dancing in character. I can't suddenly leave the character, because when you're watching the flow of the film, you leave the film.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the thing of comparison in any way, because it was like, okay, what matters to me is how do I dance as Gangubai and how do I make that different, and that's what will make my songs different from one another.
Yes, that's true. That's so true. But the initial casting updates, which came way back, they had some resistance. People thought you were too young. Some thought it doesn't fit the character. But you proved them all wrong with the trailer and the song. Now people think there's a reflection of, say, Vidya or Kangana Ranaut in your performance. Tell me, how do you react to that?
I've not heard this
both.
Actually.
The YouTube comments, of course.
No, I've not heard any of this. I think, people must have suggested casting, but I feel like one should not really get into, if somebody, a director who has been working for 25 years, obviously knows who's to cast, knows who to cast in, their main lead.
That's so true.
So I was okay with people not thinking that I was right for the part, because I think that's their own perspective. And honestly, that doesn't matter to me as long as the director thinks I'm right for the part. And like you mentioned, then that I proved them wrong. I think if you're feeling that perspective has changed after just watching the teaser, trailer and song, then it'll change even more after watching the whole film. And this portrayal of this character is a purely fresh perspective that has been, taken and worked upon for 2 years
Yes.
by Sir and me and the whole team. I don't think that there was any reference point because there's never been a character like this even in our Hindi films. Like there's never been, I don't think there's ever been a character like this.
That's true.
Koimoi.com